Very good afternoon, students. How are you all, beta? How many students are there? I cannot see anyone here, beta. Come fast, join. Come fast and join your live class. Today we are going to start with the chapter A Triumph of Surgery. And of course, you have test today. I hope you must have prepared for it, right? But before we go with the test, beta, I'll start with chapter first, right? So just send your messages to your friends also to join it soon. Ask them to join it quickly. Hurry up. Ask your friends, better ask your classmates to join this class. I'm also sending message in the group. Quick, hurry up. Class, come online. Come and join class. Hurry up, I'm waiting for you. How many of you had joined? Let me check out. A few of have you joined it. Come fast, better. Good afternoon, Ayush. Good afternoon, Sanchita. Kusum is here. Sumit. Simran. Good afternoon, beta Muskan. Okay. Anshu. Good. Ask other also better to join it fast. I'm waiting for them so that we can start with our chapter, A Triumph of Surgery. Right? Good afternoon, beta. Who is D? I am D. Avinash Kumar. Okay, let's start with the chapter. Mansi has also joined. Good. Mamta Chaudhary. Good afternoon, beta. How are you all, kids? Hope you all are fine, beta, and must be doing your study regularly, right? I can see many of you are serious with your study. Good. Dipti, am I audible properly, beta? Can you listen me? Okay. Yes, good, beta. Let's start with enough students have joined us in the class, so let's start. Good. Whenever I ask you question, beta, you are supposed to respond very quickly. Very good. That's nice. Very good. So let's start with our chapter first, and at the end of this class, I will take your test. That is of chapter 1 and chapter 2, right? So let's start with the chapter A Triumph of Surgery, right? What is triumph of surgery? What does it mean? Triumph of surgeries. Triumph means victory, जीतना किसी चीज को. Surgery, we know doctors operate surgery, right? So it is related to that medical profession. So triumph of surgery, surgery की जीत क्या है? For now, what is it? Our doctors are doing tremendous hard work the for our safety, right? So they are doing that. In another way, we can call that is also triumph of surgery. That patients are recovering from their diseases, right? They are coming out of corona. So their triumph. So it's triumph of surgery. That's called. Fine. So here we have to see what is it. A triumph of surgery is. Tricky is a small dog here. There are three main characters, beta. Fine. One is Tricky. Where is it going? Wait a minute. Okay. Anyhow. So one we have Tricky is a dog. The lady is Mrs. Pamphray, and one doctor we have is James Harriet, JAMESHERRIOT. Right? There are three main characters, you can say. One dog, and two. One is doctor, Mr. James Harriet, and a woman, a lady. She is Mrs. Pamphray. Right? So this dog belongs to Mrs. Pamphray. So Tricky is a small dog, is pampered and overfed by his rich mistress. He falls seriously ill, and his mistress consults a veterinary surgeon. Does he perform an operation, or does the dog recover? Right? Here the question has also come. Why is Mrs. Pamphray worried about Tricky? What does she do to help him? Is she wise in this? Who does I refer to in this story? I was really worried about Tricky this time, right? So who does I refer to in this story? What do you think? Can you tell me? Who does I refer to in this story if you have read it? I was really worried about Tricky this time. What do you think? Who was worried? Answer me, beta. What do you think? Who was worried about Tricky? Was it Mrs. Pamphray, or was it James Harriet, the doctor? Actually, I here is Dr. James Harriet. Yes, Ayush answered correctly. I here is doctor. Right? So, what does he want to say here? I have made slides for you. Let's check it out. Let's read it through slides. I have tried to make them interesting for you. So, A Triumph of Surgery by James Harriet. Right? The doctor himself is the narrator. He had written this chapter, A Triumph of Surgery. Good, Sanchita, Mamta, Simran, you all answered very good, beta. So let's start with our chapter, A Triumph of Surgery. So you have got the main idea of this chapter, right? And what is the main idea? That we have a dog Triumph. He is an ill dog. right? And who is the doctor who is curing him? Mr. James Harriet, right? And who's the lady who was pampering him? Mrs. Pamphray. Her name resembled to pampering, right? Pamphray, Mrs. Pamphray. So she is here. A triumph of surgery. Look at the picture of dog here. Look how fat dog is, right? Actually, this story, beta, it revolves around an ill dog, and his name is Tricky. Look, Tricky is here, right? And his mistress is Mrs. Pamphray, right? The dog was hugely fat. You can see in the picture, right? He was hugely fat. His eyes were blood red and wet. Here it seems he's having healthy eyes, but in our story, the dog is having blood red eyes and wet. So Mrs. Pamphray gave him malt, cod liver oil, and bowl of Horlicks. But still, Tricky had no energy, right? And the doctor advised her to cut down on sweet things. He looks like a blotted sausage, actually. That's Tricky. And Mrs. Pamphray, she used to give him lot of food stuff to eat. But James Harriet, the doctor advised her not to do all these things. But still, she was continuing in doing all such things, right? And she must cut Tricky's food, but she didn't. And she must give dog some exercise, but again she didn't. She must she must keep him on a very strict diet, but again she wasn't. So that was the problem. But what happened within few days? Dr. Harriet received a call from Mrs. Pamphray. She tells him that Tricky doesn't eat. This problem definitely would have come because she was not taking care of the dog regularly. She was taking care of, but she was over pampering him. That's why the problem has come, right? And she called the doctor, and he was doing a bout of vomiting. He only lies down on the rug panting. The doctor advised her that Tricky needs to be hospitalized, right? But he is to be kept under observation. So look, I have given a brief character sketch of dog here. He was a small dog and was excessively loved by his mistress, who Mrs. Pamphray, right? He was greedy and loved food but no exercise. As a result, he became fat, and Mrs. Pamphray believed that he became lazy because he suffered from malnutrition, right? So finally, the day had arrived when Tricky had to be hospitalized. So look at the picture here that has shown in your text also. She is Mrs. Pamphray. Here, doctor is there, and our dog Tricky is here along with her. So finally, what happened to Tricky? When he got ill, the doctor advised him to hospitalize, and Mrs. Pamphray, she had no way to do that, right? So she did that. Whatever doctor suggested her, she did that. So look at our Tricky, and when Tricky reached to hospital, the household dogs, they searched him. They were walking, they were roaming around Tricky, and he sees them lying motionless, right? A bed for Tricky is made in a warm, loose box. And what happened to Tricky then? How he recovered? Look, for 2 days, I kept an eye on him. Who kept? Dr. James. He kept an eye on him and giving him no food but plenty of water. At the end of second day, he started to show interest in his surroundings, right? And third day, he began to whimper when he heard the dogs in the yard. So he was accepting his circumstances, he was accepting his surroundings, right? And for 2 days, no food is given to him, and plenty of water was there. On the second day, as it has shown, he started taking some interest in his surrounding, and on the third day, he began to whimper when he heard the dog in the yard. मतलब वो उनको भौंकते हुए सुनता है दूसरे कुत्तों को, तो वो उनकी तरफ attract hota hai. He also wants to enjoy with them, right? And when Tricky starts taking a walk around the bowls, licking casually inside one or two of them. So Tricky's progress is rapid, right? The rapid progress is going on there, and he has no medical treatment of any kind. He runs about the dogs, joining their friend barkings. He starts fighting for his share of food and hunts rats all night, right? And Dr. Harriet tells Mrs. Pamphret that Tricky is not in danger and recovering rapidly. Are you understanding, Mita? What has happened here? Doctor hasn't given anything to the Tricky. He hasn't given any treatment to the Tricky. ट्रिकी को कोई ट्रीटमेंट नहीं दिया उसने, कोई उसकी सर्जरी नहीं करी, कोई उसको मेडिसिन नहीं दी. बिना उस मेडिसिन के ही, बिना सर्जरी के ही वो ठीक हो गया. कैसे? हाउ? 2 दिन तक उसको कुछ नहीं मिला, ठीक है, सिर्फ और सिर्फ पानी मिला. अब उसको भूख लगी, तो थर्ड डे उसने खुद ही उसमें इंटरेस्ट लेना स्टार्ट कर दिया, राइट? और जो आसपास के और डॉग्स थे उनके साथ भी उसने भौंकना स्टार्ट कर दिया, उनके साथ इंटरेस्ट लेना स्टार्ट कर दिया. व्हाई? बिकॉज ही वाज फीलिंग हेल्दी टिल नाउ. ओके, so the doctor called his mistress, Mrs. Pamphret, and told her about his recovery. And Mrs. Pamphret started bringing, she thought that he said that Dr. Harriet tells Mrs. Pamphret that Tricky is not in danger and recovering rapidly, right? So Mrs. Pamphret, what she did, she started gathering eggs and dozens of other foodstuffs for him, for his strength, like, and wine and brandy are given to improve Tricky's constitution. So the doctor informed that Tricky has recovered and Mrs. Pamphret can collect him. Right? Hope you are understanding what has happened till now with Tricky. She was overfeeding him. Who? Mrs. Pamphret. She was overfeeding him, and that's why he was getting ill. But now, what our doctor has given him, he has not given him any medicine or any such sort of surgery. He only treated him in a healthier way, right? So within 2 weeks, Tricky has been transformed into a flexible, hard-muscled animal. He is stretching out in great bounds. When Tricky sees his mistress, he leaps and sails into her lap. जब उसने अपनी मिस्ट्रेस को देखा तो फटाफट उसके पास भाग कर गया और उसकी लैप में, उसकी गोदी में वो झूलने लगा, right? And Mrs. Pamphret leans out of the window, her lips trembling and tears shine in her eyes. She says, "Oh, Mr. Harriet, how can I ever thank you? This is a triumph of surgery." So finally, she thanked to Mr. Harriet for what he did, for how he treated Tricky, and this was the triumph of, she called it the triumph of surgery. ये surgery की जीत थी. What do you think? Was it a real surgery? Yes, children. Was it surgery? Tell me. But if you opt healthy lifestyles in your life, no, you will always remain healthy, right? So overeating, not doing exercise, laziness. Avoid all these things if you want to be healthy in your life, right? So that was all about our chapter. So thank you, kids. Stay healthy, stay happy, and stay home, right? Now let's start with our test. Hope you all must be carrying with your notebook and pen with you. Shall we start? Yes, of course. So here comes your test. What all you have to do, beta, you have to note down the questions right now from the screen, right? You just note down the question and I will check out your time, right? This test is time bound, so you have to finish this test. I'll give you 15 minutes. Enough for you? Right? Okay, let's take 20 minutes. Fine? जैसे ही मैं स्क्रीन ऑफ करूंगी बेटा, आप लोग राइट अपने आंसर लिखना स्टार्ट कर दोगे एंड विद इन 20 मिनट्स, राइट, यू विल सेंड द क्लिक ऑफ योर नोटबुक्स, योर हैंड रिटन टेस्ट आप क्लिक करोगे और मुझे अपने ग्रुप में, अपने व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप में आप सेंड करोगे. फाइन, आई विल चेक आउट your answers, and in the next class we will discuss the answers of this test as well as with this chapter, a triumph of surgery. Fine, so here are the questions. Write down them quickly. मार्क्स मैंने यहाँ बता दिए आपको, क्वेश्चन के एंड में आपको मार्क्स दिए हैं बेटा. दिस यू हैव टू नोट डाउन. आपका 20 मार्क्स का टेस्ट होगा और ये 20 मार्क्स के लिए मैं आपको, चलिए 20 मिनट्स आर मोर देन एनफ आई थिंक, है ना. बहुत छोटे छोटे क्वेश्चंस हैं तो जल्दी जल्दी लिख लेना आप लोग इनको और 20 मिनट्स में करके आप मुझे दे दोगे. राइट नाउ इट्स 12:30 ऑलमोस्ट. ठीक है, एट you write these questions, it will take 5 minutes. That's fine. You are supposed to submit it by 1 o'clock, right? आपको enough time दे रही हूँ बेटा मैं. You are supposed to submit it by 1. But keep in mind your handwriting should be neat and clean. You just click it properly and send it me in WhatsApp group. So write them quickly. Right. It's 12:30 right now. At 12:35 I will sign off from the screen and sharp at 1 o'clock I will accept your test. उसके बाद मुझे जो आफ्टर 1 o'clock मुझे जो सबमिट करेगा बेटा, आई वॉन्ट एक्सेप्ट, राइट. तो आप 1 बजे तक मुझे सब अपने आंसर्स जो हैं वो भेज दीजिएगा, राइट. यस बेटा, ग्रुप में नहीं भेजने, पर्सनली भेजने आपको. ठीक है, सबके पास, आपके पास मेरा नंबर है, आप लोगों को पर्सनली मुझे मेरे नंबर पर भेजना है. Very easy questions, better. It would be better if you write them, if you answer them in your own language, right? So I hope you all must have noted them down in your notebook, isn't it? What's not clear, better? Miss Avinash, what's not clear, better? It's not clear. What is not clear? Good. So you have noted questions and start writing answers, better. Fine, and you will submit it me by 1 o'clock. Okay. So all the very best to all of you. Take care. Have a nice day.